Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, a visit to New Haven to look into the teacher shortage. We have the latest on how some national news may impact students.
Along with an update on New Haven's police department.
Plus everything to expect this weekend from Bobcat Weekend to men's ice hockey.
All that and more on the Q30 Newscast.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Q30 Newscast. I'm Olivia Cattell and alongside me is Sydney Weimer, who is here on desk for the very first time.
Yes, Olivia, I'm very excited to be on desk for tonight's show. There's been a lot happening on and around campus, so let's just jump right into it. Earlier this week, Q30 News received a tip that a Student Government Association senior class senator resigned from her position on Friday. While the former senator declined to comment, we are trying to gather more information.
Last Thursday, Quinnipiac students reported an unidentified male wandering classrooms in the Communications, Computing, and Engineering building on the Mount Carmel campus. The man, who claimed to be named Jeff and affiliated with the Quinnipiac Activities Club, was reportedly selling tickets for a, quote, New York comedy show. The man was reportedly using a tap-style system to take credit card payments from students. Quinnipiac's Department of Public Safety will continue to give any further updates regarding scammers' presence on campus last week.
New Haven Public Schools are implementing solutions to the teacher shortage that is currently sweeping the nation. Schools across the district are calling for Quinnipiac students to serve as substitute teachers in classrooms to help relieve the shortage. Q30's Vanessa Blasi spoke with officials from both New Haven schools and Quinnipiac and has more information on the shortage.
The school year is well underway, yet inside many Connecticut classrooms, schools are battling a teacher shortage. Right in the Elm City, New Haven public schools were down about 90 teachers at the start of the year. Yet in New Haven, the staff have come up with a unique solution.
The big program that we're working on right now is with Quinnipiac University, trying to get their science majors who might be interested in science teaching, and if we get enough of them, we can actually cover classes.
Quinnipiac students are now invited to become substitute teachers. The district is looking for any students who have an interest in teaching.
I think Quinnipiac students would be a great fit. I think they bring a fresh perspective because it wasn't too long ago they were sitting in science classes.
So far, out of about 10 students that have applied, 5 of them were accepted and are now ready to start as soon as tomorrow.
I think it's a great opportunity. I think even if people end up not going into the education field, it gives them the opportunity to learn leadership skills and just kind of have their foot in the door in some type of career.
As substitute teachers, students will get paid $100 a day and have the chance to alleviate this shortage across the state. Since the beginning of the school year, teachers have begun filling classrooms just like this. The number of vacancies has reduced from 90 to 77, the lowest number in over a year. Yet, there is still more work to do. McCain also reached out to Yale to get a similar collaboration rolling, and it's all for the kids.
I know that you're in college or you might be in graduate school and you're doing your thing and everything, but there's a big world out there, and you can really reach out and change a student's life forever. And what greater reward is there than that?
Reporting for Q30 News, I'm Vanessa Blasi.
A Quinnipiac law professor has been appointed by President Joe Biden to fill a vacancy on the U.S. District Court. Professor Sarah Russell will now complete the confirmation process of her new role, which will include getting approval from the Senate Judiciary Committee and a full vote in the U.S. Senate.
The School of Law is also in search for a new dean. The school's current dean, Jennifer Brown, will be leaving at the end of the year. The dean of the School of Business, Holly Rader, will chair the search committee, which includes current law professors Jeff Cooper and Marilyn Ford.
Additionally, the School of Communications is still in search of a new dean to head the school after former dean Chris Rausch announced his resignation this past spring. The search committee is being led by College of Art and Sciences dean Adam Roth and includes the current associate interim dean and journalism professor Ben Bagardis.
Yesterday, representatives from each school at Quinnipiac gathered in the piazza for the Majors and Minors Fair. Students who were considering changing their major, adding a double major, or adding a minor were encouraged to attend the fair and learn more about the programs that interest them.
This weekend, Quinnipiac will host the annual Bobcat Weekend, where on-campus activities such as a food truck festival and men's hockey watch party will take place. There is still time to register yourself, family, and friends. Visit Quinnipiac's website for more information on how to register.
Speaking of Bobcat Weekend, Quinnipiac announced today that the new Bobcat Golden Lager beer will be making its debut starting on Friday to kick off the annual celebration. This marks a new partnership between the university and local Stony Creek Brewery. Q30 spoke with Associate Vice President for Corporate Partnerships, Michael Cassa, to hear more.
With respect to Bobcat Weekend, any place where we are selling, alcoholic beverages to over 21, it will be available. We're doing a afternoon beer garden, I believe, on the Quad campus on Saturday afternoon. It will be available on the Rocks as well. It will be available at the arena of the Bobcat Den. It will also be available at the University Club.
It's time for us to take our first break of the night, but stick with us because we'll have more information on new Connecticut laws for carrying open firearms, as well as recent news on the Speaker of the House.
But before we go, we have Anthony Rossi in the studio with a forecast to round out the week. Anthony?
Thanks, guys. So here's my 3-day forecast for the town of Hamden. Very sunny skies earlier today, high of 81 and a low of 58. You better have been keeping those sunglasses on. They're going to help. Thursday, we got partially cloudy and partially sunny, so that will be tomorrow. So it's a little bit cooler as we get later on into the week. A low of 56, so make sure you get those sweatshirts out Thursday night. And then Friday, a high of 71 and a low of 61, a very overcast day. So sunglasses, you can take them off, put them back on the shelf. Don't need them for the rest of the week. I'll be back later with my 7-day forecast and the temperatures around Connecticut. We'll be right back on the Q30 Newscast.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right
Course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Thanks for sticking with us. This past Monday, Q-Thon honored Child Health Day, which is celebrated across the country to recognize children, families, and medical professionals associated with children's health. Several small business pop-up shops were also at the event, and crafting workshops such as tote bag painting were also held to create a calming environment for visitors.
This month, the town of Hamden is recognizing fire safety prevention. A safety training session was held last night in Hamden Middle School, teaching individuals how to prevent fires and plan escapes during emergencies. Q30 spoke with the chief of Hamden Fire Department about why fire safety is so important.
Information basically to build a more resilient community in order to keep them, their family members, their loved ones safe. And with our education and training, along with others that we're going to be able to share with them this evening, it's going to be an excellent opportunity to keep our community really safe.
In some more news coming out of Hamden, the town's acting chief of police, Timothy Wydra, announced his retirement after more than 1 year in the position and 30 years with the police department, effective October 15th. Just yesterday, Hamden Mayor Lauren Garrett announced the new chief of police, Edward Page Reynolds. Reynolds will assume the position on October 16th. On October 1st, a new Connecticut law was signed into effect that bans the open carry of firearms as part of a larger effort to work towards stronger gun control. Q30's Andrew Reynolds spoke with representatives from Quinnipiac to hear more about this law.
Guns in America have become one of the largest partisan issues across the United States. Just this past week, Connecticut legislation weighed in, ruling that Connecticut residents can no longer carry a gun that is unconcealed.
The change is really relatively minor. You can still own an assault weapon, you just can't buy one. You can buy other kinds of weapons, and you can carry a pistol after you go through the permitting process, but you can't openly carry. So what we're seeing here is politics much more than policy. And that's really what this whole debate has become.
As Pelto said, guns have become a major partisan issue across the U.S., and both parties at Quinnipiac are weighing in on this new law across the state.
I think Public Law 2353, which is the overarching gun package involved here, is a really incredible law. Not just with open carry, which is probably the most noteworthy thing in it, which ensures that folks are going to feel safer in their communities, they're going to be safer in their communities, and ensuring that, there are safe communities.
The college Republicans also weighed in and told Q30 in a joint statement, quote, "In banning open carry, the state of Connecticut has taken a measure which, in reality, is designed to improve their image. This law also contains measures designed to ensure that firearms are safely stored within homes and increases permit training, both of which are existing fundamentals of safe and proper firearm possession." They closed their statement saying, while this bill takes measures to increase gun control amongst law-abiding citizens, the bill fails to target individuals who abuse this American right.
We are a state that has traditionally voted Democratic, and we have a legislature that is controlled by the Democratic Party, a governor who is a Democrat. It shouldn't come as any surprise to people that there have been efforts to restrict the easy access to guns.
Professor Pelto also told me that he believes that this ruling will make it up to the Supreme Court due to opposers of the ruling saying that it is unconstitutional. Reporting from Hamden, Connecticut, I'm Andrew Reynolds, Q30 News.
Well, it has been a very eventful week in our nation's capital, that's for sure.
Joe Monti is here with us to give an update on what's happened in our nation's capital this week. Joe?
Thank you, Sydney and Olivia. There's a lot going on in politics this week, so let's not waste any time. Last night, October 3rd, Kevin McCarthy was historically ousted from his position as Speaker of the House. The movement to remove McCarthy was led by Representative Matt Gaetz. He and several other Republicans were unhappy with McCarthy's leadership and his willingness to compromise with President Biden and the Democrats. This is the first time a Speaker of the House has been removed from their position in U.S. history. All business that is to be conducted in the House is on standby while Republicans work to find a new Speaker. Speaking of President Biden, the House Oversight Committee held their first impeachment inquiry into the president last Thursday, September 28th. Republicans in the House showcased evidence that allegedly connects the Biden family to bribery and money laundering schemes while Joe Biden was vice president and after. The evidence included that Joe Biden's home address in Delaware was listed as a beneficiary for a $250,000 payment to his son Hunter Biden from the Chinese communists in Beijing. Republicans believe that Joe Biden and members of his family were selling their political influence for personal profit. Plans for the next hearing are currently in the works. Lastly, Representative Jamal Bowman is taking heat for pulling a fire alarm in a Capitol office building when there was no fire. Bowman pulled the alarm at an emergency exit before a key vote in the House on government funding. He says that he was in a rush to get to the vote and thought pulling the lever on the alarm would open the door. However, many believe he was attempting to delay the vote because it was a Republican spending bill. Fellow representatives are calling on the DOJ to prosecute Bowman for interfering with an official proceeding in the House. That's all I've got for this week's action-packed political update. Back to Sydney and Olivia at the desk.
It's time for us to take our second break of the night, but be sure to stick around because we have Anthony Rossi coming back for a full forecast. We also have Brianna Trachtenberg join the show to provide an update on all things national news. Stay with us.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. As promised, Anthony Rossi is back with us for a full forecast of the upcoming week.
Anthony, what can we expect for Bobcat Weekend?
Thanks, guys. So like I said, I am back for the 7-day forecast around Hamden, Connecticut. So starting with these first 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like I mentioned, sunny, partially cloudy, and then an overcast day on Friday with a chance of rain on Friday and Saturday. An overcast day, so make sure you pack those umbrellas, pack those raincoats just in case of the rain. High of 67, low of 55 on that day, on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have a sunny day, 62, 49. So those umbrellas and raincoats, you can put them away. Sun day, kind of matches. Monday as well, sun going back through the clouds into a very cloudy day. Low of 45 and a high of 59, so it gets cooler throughout the week. And then we get into Tuesday and a very hotter day with a 63 high and a low of 45. So it gets a little bit chillier in the nighttime, but it's definitely warmer during the day. So now let's take a look at the temperatures around Connecticut. So starting on the left side, we got Norwich over here with a high of 75 and a low of 57. And all around Connecticut, it's partially sunny, partially cloudy throughout the entire day. New London, 72 degrees and a low of 58. And as we move onto this right side, Hartford with a 76 high and a low of 58. Torrington is one of the cooler areas, like New Haven as well. New Haven along the shore, obviously going to be a little bit cooler than the rest of these inland cities and towns. And then Stamford down here, a high of 75 and a low of 59. So it gets a little bit warmer into tomorrow and it gets cooler throughout the week. That's all I have on the weather. I'm Anthony Ross reporting for Q30 News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for the update, Anthony. Now moving from Hamden to Washington, D.C., Julia Barcello has information on the recently avoided government shutdown and what this means going forward. Julia?
On Saturday, September 30th, the U.S. passed the stopgap bill, which prevented the U.S. government from falling into a total shutdown. The House voted 335 to 91 for the measure, passing the two-thirds majority needed. The Senate later voted 88 to 9 to pass the legislation. Biden signed the measure late Saturday night, minutes before it could have occurred. In an interview on September 20th, Quinnipiac Chair of Economics Johnson Don explained.
To worry because I can't believe these people are crazy enough to do this long term.
The stopgap bill will provide extra funding through mid-November. The measure includes $16 billion in disaster relief, including a renewal of the flood insurance program through November 17th, and the reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration through the end of December. The bill will also prevent the loss of any student and federal loans, including any federal payments. However, the bill excludes aid for Ukraine and border security measures wanted by Republicans. While there were disagreements between Democrats and Republicans, this was the only way to prevent a total shutdown. Reporting from Quinnipiac, I'm Julia Barcello, Q30 News.
Now let's take a look at what else has been going on around the country. Brianna Trachtenberg is in studio to give us our national news update.
Brianna, what national updates do you have for us?
Thank you, Sydney and Olivia. Earlier this week, 2 U.S. soldiers died and a dozen more were injured after a military vehicle accident occurred in Alaska. 17 members of the 11th Airborne Division were riding in a vehicle when the driver lost control, causing it to flip over. First responders provided medical treatment until the soldiers were able to be evacuated to Fairbanks Memorial Hospital. Information on the injured soldiers' names, as well as current conditions, have yet to be released to the public. The cause of the accident is still under investigation. Now, let's move to New York, where a 2-day-long missing person case for a young girl has been resolved. A 9-year-old girl was found unharmed after going missing while on a camping trip with her parents in upstate New York last Saturday. Charlotte Center was reported missing when her bike was found abandoned after she had left her parents to go on a ride with her friends. Early Monday morning, the suspect had driven to the family's home and left a ransom note in the mailbox. The police tested the document for fingerprints and identified Craig Nelson Ross Jr. as the suspect. SWAT teams later arrived at the suspect's residence and arrested him. They found Charlotte in a cabinet and she had appeared to be in good health but was taken to the hospital out of precaution. As of now, no charges have been brought against Ross. Finally, let's look at Las Vegas, where a 27-year-long investigation into murder of hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur has finally led to an arrest. Last Thursday, Dwayne Davis was arrested and charged with murder on Friday for the 1996 killing of Tupac. Davis has been known to investigators as one of the 4 suspects. While he is not the accused gunman, he was described as the group's ringleader who orchestrated the murder. Davis has admitted to himself and in his 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend, that he provided the gun that was used in the drive-by shooting. The Nevada grand jury has indicted Davis for 1 count of murder with a deadly weapon. The jury also voted to add a sentencing enhancement for gang activity that could add up to 20 years if he is convicted. Davis is due in court next week. Now, that is all I have for national news this week. I'm Brianna Trachtenberg, Q30 News.
Thanks for the update, Brianna. It is now time for us to take our final break of the night, but stick with us to hear updates on all things hockey.
That's right. We have more information coming on men's ice hockey tickets, the season opener, and even their new bling. Maeve Campbell also has updates on women's ice and field hockey.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Thanks for sticking with us. The men's ice hockey team is back for their first game since their big win, and just about everybody wants to see the reigning national champions in action. Q30's Connor Core has the story on the price visitors are paying for a seat at the arena.
M&T Bank Arena is the home of this weekend's main event after Quinnipiac men's ice hockey won their first national championship back in April. The banner-raising ceremony this Saturday night has put a lot of eyes on this event, right before the Bobcats look to start the defense of their title against the Boston College Eagles. But on Saturday, these seats are going to be hard to come by. While everyone wants to live in the moment, it did not take long for administrators to get prepared for this upcoming game.
I'm thinking, wow, we just scored, like we're celebration, heading back. What does that mean on campus in that moment? But as we digested all that information, just trying to get prepared for this upcoming season, it's a great opportunity for us.
Now green does mean go this Saturday night at 7 o'clock for some students getting the virtue of having student tickets, but others didn't get quite as fortunate. Sunday at noon, the tickets went on sale, but were gone within a minute and a half. Many first-year students who are getting their first experience for Bobcats hockey aren't quite getting exactly what they wanted when signing up for game tickets.
I'm not completely sure. I did make sure my login was working the day before and the day of, so I was able to get in. I unfortunately was not able to get tickets at the time. Immediately once I logged on, it said that they were sold out right at 12.
This game is labeled as a premium game with the highest tickets going for $32. As third-party platforms started to step in, the average cost according to StubHub is an estimated $150 per ticket, which is roughly a 450% increase from the original price.
See the prices on the third-party websites additional higher than that. It's good. People are interested in Quinnipiac hockey, so I think overall we're happy with that, even though they are elevated on those third-party platforms.
Nothing quite is the same as being at the game. Reporting in Hamden for Q30 News, I'm Connor Core.
Keeping up with the theme of sports, we have Maeve Campbell in studio with us to give an update in the world of Quinnipiac athletics. Maeve, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. Let's get right into it. Starting on the ice, the women's ice hockey team showcased their dominance in the M&T Bank Arena. They swept Maine in an incredible weekend with 2 victories, starting their season with a record of 2-0. In their home opener, Logan Ongers had her first shutout of the season with 20 saves, leading the team to a 3-0 win. The momentum continued on to Saturday, where the Bobcats scored 5 unanswered goals, starting with a Maya Labad equalizer. And a goal number 2 of the weekend for Kendall Cooper helped secure the 5-1 victory. With goals from 5 different players, the team continued to prove their offensive dominance once again. The Bobcats will head to Durham, New Hampshire this weekend for 2 games against the UNH Wildcats. Moving over from the ice to the courtside, the volleyball team has continued to be unstoppable in MAC play. They were on the road for both matches against Iona and Manhattan. Ginevra Jovagioni has been a key contributor to the team's success. On Saturday, she led the Bobcats with 24 kills and 12 digs to win the match 3-1 versus the Iona Gales. On Sunday, Damala Gunesh had 47 assists and 7 digs to help the team come to a 3-2 win over Manhattan. They now prepare to travel down I-95 to Fairfield on Saturday, getting ready for a 2022 MAC Championship rematch against the Stags, while also looking to improve their record 7-0 in MAC play, for the first time in program history. Now to the field. Field hockey also spent their weekend on the road. Despite their 2-game losing streak, they came out with a 3-2 win against Georgetown. On Friday, the game was tied 2-2 until Olivia Howard in the 4th quarter secured the Big East win for the Bobcats. Sunday, they couldn't keep the streak, losing 1-2 versus Sacred Heart, with the lone goal scored by Amelia Mazzarelli. The Cats will get ready to host in-state rival UConn this Friday. They hope to get their first win against UConn ever, as their all-time record is 0-17 against the Huskies. New head coach this season, Nina Klein, played at UConn and was an all-star in net, leading the team to 3 national championships. The field hockey team is at a point in their season where every game for them is a must-win, as their record currently stands 4-5. That's all for sports this week. I'm Maeve Campbell, Q30 News.
Thanks for the update, Maeve. Moving back up to the M&T Bank Arena for the highly anticipated men's ice hockey season opener, Gage Kilborn breaks down just what we can expect from the matchup against Boston University.
It has been almost 6 months since the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team last dropped the puck in Tampa Bay, Florida to win the national title. And now they're going to be coming home to a packed barn for their season opener against the Boston College Eagles. And it's a top 10 matchup between the Eagles and the Bobcats. Second time in the last 3 years, Quinnipiac has hosted a top 10 matchup in Hamden. BC coming in with 6 NHL draft picks, which is the most this team has seen since 1989. That year, the team went on to the Frozen Four. The Bobcats' all-time record against Boston College is 4-0-2, including a massive 4-0 win against the Eagles a year ago in the Conte Forum. This will probably be one of the biggest games these two teams have played against each other since the 2016 NCAA Frozen Four, which saw Quinnipiac winning 3-2, with Michael Gartig standing tall in the last 5 minutes of the game. With the new talent coming in for both Quinnipiac and Boston College, it is going to be a battle between experience and youth. The Bobcats may have lost some key pieces of last season's national championship team like Ziani Peretz and Zach Metza, but they did keep their top scorers from last season in Jacob Quillen, Sam Lipkin, and Colin Graff. Like I said, it's going to be a packed barn here at the bank, and it's going to be in a sold-out crowd at that. No tickets left available at the street or at the corner. Reporting outside from M&T Bank Arena, Gage Kilborn, Q30 News.
The men's ice hockey team has also revealed new national championship memorabilia to honor their victory in Tampa last April. The team announced Monday on X, formerly known as Twitter, the new custom rings that players have received. The rings are engraved with both silver and gold accents, as well as feature an iconic bobcat in the center. Fans have even requested replicas to be made for their own purchase.
Fans also want to see the team in the opening game of the season, as Connor mentioned earlier. Q30 News took to X to ask students if they were able to get tickets to the game, and the results are in. Out of the 50 respondents, 56% said that they were able to get tickets for the game, while 44% did not secure a ticket. Whether you will be one of the many in the stands or the many watching from home, it's looking like the men's hockey team will start their season off very strong.
On that note, we are out of time here on this week's newscast.
Be sure to follow us on social media at Q30 News and check out Q30TV.com to stay up to date with all the news happening on and around Quinnipiac's campus.
As always, thank you to all the people behind the scenes that make the show happen. I'm Sydney Weimer.
And I'm Olivia Cattell. Good night, Bobcats.